Hey everyone, and welcome to the Forgot to Save podcast, the weekly podcast where we explore the games that had a significant impact on the gaming industry or each other that we never got around to playing before. My name is Stone, and with me, as always, is our co-host, BlueLizardJello. How are you doing today, Blue?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am great, and as people have already noticed, something is awry.
Right? Yeah, you just got the intro. Like, not only is that your first time doing it, you didn't even practice it.
Thank you.
No. I didn't say good job. I just said you did it without practicing.
Thank you for noticing. I said that something was awry, and you immediately went into something good that I did and acted like that was the issue. Not that I am doing the intro at all. Because there is something up with this particular episode. We're switching because what they say for new experiences, but specifically new podcasts to do, is constantly change your formula. Never stay consistent when you start, right? Don't let
if your audience knows what to expect, they grow tired.
Right. It's like that exercise theory where it's like you constantly have to keep your body in shock, right?
Turns out people don't want comfort.
Right. Exactly. People sleep on pallets. They don't use blankets. That's the kind of people that listen to this podcast. But we are immediately changing up the formula because I have been envious of the coveted odd number episodes for too long. I am moving to usurp you and, in fact, take over this particular episode.
Okay, and I just want to be clear, and this has nothing to do with the fact that I wasn't prepared with my list, right?
No, this is a usurping.
Okay, all right, it's all about the usurping.
This is a one-man coup d'etat.
Usurp away.
Yes. Obviously, you were not happy with the state that your current list is in. You just needed a little bit more time in the oven, I guess. Is the best way to put it.
Yep, a little doughy in the middle.
Sure, and I'm rearing to go. I'm excited about it, and we still wanted to record this week, so I said let's go for it. I'll just do mine this week, and so now I'm the odd episodes. You're even. How do
because
you feel about it?
You've had this list prepared for what, 3 weeks?
I'm not sure actually. The last time I talked about it, I think was last week, and it was maybe 2 weeks, week and a half.
Okay, all right.
I have like a big list of like 40 games that are like, these are Forgot to Save podcast worthy games. And 2 of those, by the way, have been additions from suggestions and people in comments and on the Discord. So thank you guys for that.
We're getting a lot of those.
Yeah. There is one in particular I saw that was never, ever, ever on my radar. And when I saw it, I got like really excited.
Whoa,
it will be on my future list. I had never even heard of the game before, but as soon as I heard it described, I immediately looked up the trailer and was very excited. That is not this week, though.
Just the fact that it's a game that you hadn't even heard of. I mean, not that you and I are completely plugged into, the pulse of the industry, but I feel like we're rather in the know.
Sure. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that was a little tangent, but yes. So it's not difficult for me to make a list. I usually like to, one time I did it and I'm doing it a second time. Try to come up with a good theme to tie it all together.
Yes.
And also point it at something to get you excited about a particular aspect.
So let me give you a little bit of background in me creating a list. No, you won't. I've never really done anything ahead of schedule. I am very much that last minute, gotta get this done kind of person. I've been this way since I can remember. And every time I do something of any significance in that fashion, I tell myself, next time will be different. But you know what ends up happening? It turns out great. And that's the problem. I am a victim of my own success.
When you get rewarded for that behavior, it's like, perfect. Thank you.
Right? Oh, never mind. This is how I do this. All right. Now I remember.
Yeah, I am not much of a planner oftentimes, but when I get really excited about something, I go for it. Actually, I ended up just showing you before this podcast. But yeah,
Yes,
I'm
I
excited
think
for this list.
I think just for future editing Stone, because Stone does all of our editing. I think it's worthy to just drop a quick mention here and show if you're cool with it. Some of the stuff you're doing, it's pretty cool.
Sure.
Or not.
I would love to, but not yet.
Okay.
We are specifically referring. I'm going to say it. Okay. Prepare yourselves. Skip ahead
It's
if you don't
the
want to
D word.
It's the D word. Okay. But yes, I am running that Digimon tabletop campaign. I have created something very cool for it, but at least one of my players listens, so I can't share anything yet. Yeah. Sorry. Even if this is a month in advance, I don't know exactly when it's going to be revealed.
I get it. I get it. Here I am, just putting you on the stage and asking you to perform. My apologies.
No, I would love to. For the record, don't get me started. Somebody got me started about Digimon in the Discord yesterday, and then it's the end. But let's not talk about Digimon. Let's talk about what you've been playing this week.
Oh, can we? Please?
I would love
because this is gonna get interesting. It's been, and I'm a broken record. I've been extremely swamped, a bit stressed out with work and a bunch of stuff going on. But I've been playing 2 games. Well, one game I was playing and then I stopped for a reason I'll get into, and then another game that I've been playing because there's a sequel coming out next month. So the first game, and I think we might be leading into a little bit of a conversation, but so we wrapped up our conversation in Hi-Fi Rush a week ago because it was last Thursday night, and we had a lot of really positives to say about it. But I think I'd only gotten through chapter 4 as of recording, maybe 5. I can't remember. But that was last Thursday night. On Friday, I finished the entire game.
Awesome.
I found every free moment I could, because at first I was like, you know what, I want to see what Stone said about the levels kind of changing up and getting more interesting, and I played another chapter. It's like, okay, that was really fun. And then I found a little bit more time and I did another chapter, and I did that all throughout Friday until finally I actually rolled the credits Friday night. And maybe we can talk about it. I don't know if you were planning on
keep going.
Okay, that game, I had a lot of fun with it, and I had a lot of good things to say about it come Thursday night, but I did find some repetition, and I found that the platforming was not my cup of tea, and so the combat was where the game really shines, but I wanted more of it, and I wanted less of the in-between, and I still feel that way now having rolled the credits. I do. But what I will say is that the combat only got better and better as the game went on, and so did, which blew my mind, the story beats and the characters. And when I actually got to the end and I saw all of the characters working together in the final level to take down the final baddie, I at one point just sat there with my mouth open like, this is incredible character writing. That's shocked awesome. At how well it was done. It blew my mind. Honestly, it went from, this game is really good, you should give it a go, to, I'm going to 100% this game in my spare time, and I haven't done that in I don't know how long.
Yeah, and we saw the disparity between the amount of time taken to beat the game and get 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I even that night after I rolled the credits, I actually started watching a speed run. I wanted to see what other people's experiences were and some of the cool movement tech, and I realized that beating the game on the second hardest difficulty, technically kind of the middle of the road, because there's a harder one that you unlock over time or when you beat the game. I know nothing about the game, and watching people who are skilled at this play is just, it's kind of an art form.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And it had a truly challenging, not aggravatingly so, but a truly challenging final boss that made you pull out all of the tricks you learned up till then and pull it into one. The closest thing that I can compare it to is if anyone's played the 2018 God of War and you fought the Valkyrie Queen, which takes all of the movesets from all the previous Valkyries you fought and puts it into one fight. So you have to have every skill at your disposal, and being able to pull it out at a fraction of a second. It was satisfying as all get out.
I am stoked to hear that.
Yeah.
We already had a pretty positive discussion about it already. and it's absolutely my intention to go back and finish it. You texted me that you were going like back playing it and how much you liked it.
Yeah.
I was like super happy to hear it. I absolutely want to. I've just been wrapped up with those stuff.
Sure.
Right now.
Nope, totally understand. I since we've been doing this podcast again, I haven't done that with any other game. As much as I've said, like, Chrono Trigger, loved it, and I do want to get back to it. This is the only podcast game that I, after recording, booted it back up and actually saw it through to the end.
That's great news.
High praise.
I love that. Even if that's the only one, that's still like huge.
Right. So. Absolutely huge. And the fact that it was a Game Pass game. I found a deal online where I paid like $5 and change for a month of Game Pass, and I cannot think of a better value than just to experience that game, let alone everything else I could still potentially, play for that month.
Yeah. You said you were playing 2 games?
Yes, 2 games. The other one that I've been playing around with, and I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler because I don't know if anything's going to come of this. I hope it does. But I've actually been playing Dragon's Dogma again.
Oh, yeah.
I have been playing it twofold. One, I just wanted to refamiliarize myself with the mechanics and the way that the game plays, because it is very different than your typical action RPG, Souls-like, if you will. But I also wanted to see, because one thing that I did, unfortunately, was I do have a rather lengthy playlist of Dragon's Dogma from 6 or 7 years ago. One of my most popular playlists, despite being known for the Souls games. And I got through the game, and then there's the expansion, Bitter Black Isle, which is a much more challenging area. And technically, to see the game, the true ending, you have to actually beat it twice, not the whole game, but just that expansion, because you go through and you beat the boss, whose name is Damon, once, and then you come back and you fight him again, and you have to fight his true form, his final form, and that's when you get the true ending. Well, at the time that game came out, I went through and I beat Damon, but Dark Souls 3 had just come out, and I needed to shift gears because that's my quote unquote bread and butter, right? It's what the channel is known for. And I made the announcement, hey, I'm not going to be going through this the second time. I'm sorry. I wish I could. I just don't have the time. And it left a lot of people disappointed. But now I'm trying to go through with a bit of a challenge. I'm starting a character that is going after the Mystic Knight vocation or hybrid vocation, which I've never done. So it's brand new to me. And I'm doing it on hard mode, which is something that it's interesting in that it doesn't change the amount of damage or the amount of health any enemy has, but it does quadruple the damage you take from enemies. So pretty tough there, but you do get double the XP, double the gold, etc. And I'm also going to attempt to see if I can play and subsequently record and upload me getting from start to finish through Bitter Black Isle twice and max out a character at level 200 before Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out on March 22nd. Now, when this episode comes out, I'm trying to think, are we 3 or 4 weeks ahead? Give or take?
The episode coming out? Pretty much a month.
Pretty much a month. Okay, so you'll know by now if I've even accomplished getting any of this uploaded. But even just playing it to kind of familiarize myself and take some notes, it's such a diamond in the rough. Like, don't get me wrong, the game's imperfect. The game is janky. Some of the voice acting is questionable at best. The story is completely boring and makes no sense until almost 3/4 of the way through. And then it really ramps into overdrive. But there's just so much charm in that world, and the pawn system and the climbing on the monsters and the randomness of the loot. When you get a chest, you don't know what's in it. It can be one of 2 or 3 things, and it's all randomized in your world. And I absolutely love it. I adore it. But that's been my time this week.
Yeah, as somebody that has extensive time played in the GameCube version of Phantasy Star Online, I hear level 200, and I do not think of something you can do in a month. What is the actual expected time frame for not even what you said in its entirety, but just a level 200 character?
So if you're playing casually, like you're just playing just to play, and even if you find a fairly efficient farming spot, like everyone knows about, you can push the enemy called Death off of a ledge in Bitter Black Isle, rinse and repeat. Doing something like that casually to 200 would take 80 plus hours. Easy.
Okay.
Even more casually, if you're just playing and you're not farming, you're looking at 150 hours easy. But there are guides out there, and there are, speed tactics where you can actually do it in under 6 hours. Now, I wouldn't be going right. Kind of the big disparity.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go that route, but what I would want to do is kind of make a plan, go after it, and then once I've done most of the quests and the story, then start employing some of these tactics to see how close I can get. Is it feasible? I don't know. Probably not, but I think it'll be a fun challenge for the next month or so.
So the bit you've currently been playing, is that like practice, or
yes,
is it started?
No, it hasn't started. I have not hit record yet because while I want to go into this new vocation, the Mystic Knight, somewhat uninformed, I want to at least make sure that I can survive the first couple hours.
Sure. Yeah,
that's once necessary. I have that mapped out, I'll feel pretty good about hitting record, and then we'll just we will let the game be my guide at that point.
So that sounds super fun. As somebody that's not even into Dragon's Dogma, I like when people do like challenges for games.
Yes.
I'll oftentimes watch a ton of people play fighting games and stuff that I'll never play, and I just love when people do a new spin on it. So
yes. Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear that, and I'm excited that you found something to pour your time into.
Yes. And everyone else listening is like, hey, Blue, what about Dark Souls 2? What about Elden Ring? What about Bloodborne? You can list quite a lot of whatabouts. But right now, my heart is Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, if the passion's not there, what's the point?
Right? What is the point?
Right.
Beautiful.
Well, like you, I have only been playing 2 games.
Yeah, I won't even guess because it's not a guess. I know, but please share with the world.
I mean, we all know it was the extensive talking point for me last time. Obviously, it's Persona 3 Reload. It's been an excellent experience. I have one complaint about the game so far. Other than that, phenomenal. It's a super minor thing, and without playing, you probably don't care. But a big part of Persona is that you have the dungeons that you do, and then separate from that, you have like relationships with different people in town, and you have your school life to manage. In Persona 3, it was especially unique because there were multiple sports teams you could join, multiple clubs you could be a part of, and it was one or the other. So it was like you could do a sport, you could do kendo, swimming, or soccer. And they would all kind of give you the same end point, but you would interact with different NPCs. In this, they condensed all of it. So it's like you're on the track team, and that's what you do. You're like in the music club, and that's what you do. They like focused it, which kind of feels like they took a little bit away, but everything else has been phenomenal. Also, I mean, people always say this with Persona, but this is even on another level. The UI, like the way that game performs through its menus and the style that it takes on, is another level even for Persona. I think
really
it is like, if you just watch somebody playing through it, just watching the menu is an experience. I love it. There's so much character between UI elements and like what happens in combat. It like flows naturally from a menu to being a real action the characters are taking. It's phenomenal. Huge fan.
That's really cool.
I have about 30 hours in it so far.
Wow. Okay.
And that's going to be more surprising when you hear
how many hours do you have in the other game.
Yes.
Well, before you move on to the next game, I have a question. Because you and I, we've talked Persona. You've definitely almost sold me on it. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
But as someone, especially coming off of Hi-Fi Rush, where one of my chief complaints was the time in between combat, which I felt was the best part, was too long. What would you say the ratio is between the combat, like the dungeon delving of Persona, and everything else?
That is a kind of a tricky question.
Okay.
Because, again, typically when we're talking about Persona in this regard, we're talking about the 3D Personas.
Yes.
The Persona 1, and there's 2 versions of 2. It's a continuing story. They are like the old school first-person dungeon crawling where you move like one tile at a time.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we'd be talking about 3. 3, 4, 5, which are the 3D ones. I would say, first of all, it's going to depend on the dungeon. It's going to depend on the game you're playing. But then secondly, it depends on your play style. I am somebody that absolutely loves the social aspects of it. Yes. Managing the relationships, going around, finding all the new things in the world. I mean, doing small stuff like finding what secret dishes unlock in different restaurants when you get certain stats or eat there a certain number of times, or just small stuff like that. Following rumors that you hear the NPCs talking about, exploring the world in that way. So I would say the majority of my time is spent outside dungeons, and I'm talking like a 60, 40, 70, 30
okay.
split. Now, the great thing about Persona is the dungeons move at your speed. So, for example, in Persona 5, which is, if anybody's going to start playing, I recommend that as the entry point. Persona 5, without a doubt.
Oh, okay.
You would get... the way it works is that there's an alternate universe called like the Shadow Realm, kind of. It's not called that, but for ease of explaining it to a new person, that's what it is. And there's like one objective. You have to beat the dungeon in that Shadow Realm and destroy the head of it. And it's affecting something in real life. So there's a timer, and it's like in 2 weeks, this thing is going to impact the real world, and you have to stop it before then. So you choose when you want to go into the dungeon, what you want to accomplish in that dungeon, how long you want to stay in the dungeon. I'm somebody that as soon as it becomes available, I dive in, I beat it 100%, which is more challenging because the longer you're in it, the less resources you have. The game kind of encourages you to stop and take breaks. So it's a little bit more challenging that way.
Okay.
But I beat it 100% so that for like the rest of that 2 in-game weeks or 3 or a month or whatever, I can do everything social-wise.
Nice.
But if you were somebody that really enjoys the dungeon, you could hit it one day, go to it the next day. And like in 5, like depending on the weather, the different enemies that are available change in it. Sometimes you get a bunch of side missions you can go back to the dungeon and do. So it's kind of at your own pace. So if you really like dungeon crawling, there's a lot of that. If you really like the social stuff, there's a lot of that. And if you like a mix, it can be 50-50.
Nice. Okay.
But the great thing about Persona to me is always just how open it is.
Right.
That said, if you want to get into a Persona, if you booted up Persona 5, by the time you get that choice, like the open everything to you, you have to invest like at least 4, maybe 5 hours, depending on your play style. Which is a big ask for anyone.
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
Like the promise that something will be really, really good in 4 hours is not the same as Hi-Fi Rush hooking you right at the beginning.
Exactly. Yep. And that's tough. That's tough of anything, whether it is a game, a book, a show, a movie, whatever it is. If you're trying to sell someone on it, and one of the things you have to keep saying is, no, it'll get better. No, you got to stick with it. Like, yeah, that's hard. That's a tough sell.
I got into it because I had a buddy of mine that was really pushing me to play it because he knows I like RPGs. I was sitting at his house watching him play once, and he was just going through a dungeon, and I was like, this isn't really for me, you know? And then I saw him like play more and do all the social stuff, and I was like, okay, so what's this game again? and then I was hooked on it. I started with 5 personally, and then I liked it so much I went back and I've played all of them since.
I don't know when, I don't know how, but I mean, let's just be honest. At some point, you're going to probably trick me into playing one of these for the podcast. It's got to happen.
Sure. Let's say if you get level 200 and you get your Mystic Knight, was it?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm already thinking, what did I just say?
Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll consider this. But yeah,
but you have another game on top of this. The 30 hours in Persona. You said is it 3 Reloaded?
Yes,
Reload.
3 Reload. But yeah, that is in a very few number of days because my nephew is staying with me, and he was talking to me before I picked him up for the week, and he was like, "Yeah, I tried Pal World. It's pretty fun with my friends." And I was like, "Oh, if you want, bring your Xbox."
Yeah.
I have a Series X and I have an old Xbox One upstairs. Me, you, and my wife will just do a LAN party in the living room. Okay. Right? We have now put 26 hours into a Pal World realm that we have been playing all week.
No.
So he came down on Saturday. We played like 12 hours on Saturday. And then we played a lot on Sunday. And then, Monday during the day, he's doing school. He does online class. I'm working. He's up here with me. The second we all finish, we're back downstairs playing again. So we have put a crazy amount of time into a Pal World game. And the game isn't spectacular, but it's just a really fun experience for the three of us to have together.
Sure.
So it's like a fun thing we've been doing. We'll probably go back to playing after I finish recording.
I took away from your Pal World time.
No, it's fine. It's a little disappointing because we are literally sitting there, 3 TVs next to each other in the same room, all in the same hub, leading into the same router, and it is awful performance.
Oh, really?
Like, I am the host, so things are great for me, but there's still a crazy amount of rubber banding for them, and like they'll drop off. I mean, if we play for a night, there's going to be at least one crash. And there is a variety in the performance a little bit. So it's funny. I have a Series X, he has a Series S, and then my wife is using my Xbox One. And the textures on all of them look terrible. But the games, like, even so noticeably run so much different from each other and all look kind of bad. So I'm just like puzzling, why this disparity? They all look bad. You'd think at least they would be consistent, like locked 60 FPS or something, but I don't know. It's bad. It's the game is fun, but I'm not disillusioned to the quality of it,
Sure.
It's a great thing to do together, but if I wasn't playing with these two, then it wouldn't be like Pal World, heck yeah.
So what's the gameplay loop like?
It is wanting to be Breath of the Wild very badly.
Okay.
Wanting to be Fortnite while doing it, and wanting to be Pokemon while doing that. And the gameplay loop is what you do in all 3 of those games, except done poorly. So that's the best way I can describe it.
I have to go download this game now. You got me.
And then when you get back to your base, it's a little bit of Rust.
Wait, Rust?
Oh my god! Oh,
Celine Dion.
I forgot about our dark times of Rust. Not dark times; they were fun as heck. But we were Blue and I were early adopters of Rust.
We sure were. Yeah,
very early. And yes, that joke was that when you started Rust, I don't even know if it's still this way. You start with a rock and nothing else.
Yes.
But when we finally crafted tools, we would go to the ocean and throw our rocks off the side while singing "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion.
Yeah. Meanwhile, our good friend Mr. Dooley, who is one of the most kind-hearted people you'd ever meet, suddenly you get him into Rust, and he's a raving maniac.
He was a monster. Yeah,
he was Wasteland Dooley.
Yeah, we called him Wasteland Dooley.
I hope he's listening. I'm gonna make him listen to this episode.
Okay.
But anyway,
anything else? Oh, one more quick. I have not yet been playing this, but I will because tomorrow, 3 new Smash Spirits.
Oh, really?
It has been literally every other week a new series of Smash Spirits, and then there's rumors of a direct coming up.
Yes, I did hear that.
I don't think there's going to be anything new for Ultimate yet, or any sequel to Smash. I don't think a sequel to Smash is happening anytime soon. I think if anything, they're going to port Smash Ultimate to whatever new console. But I think we may be looking at, if we're lucky, them putting Smash 64 on the online service so that you can play Smash 64 online with people.
Okay.
That would be really cool. That's my hope. That's the absolute most I would expect from Smash news coming out. But I'm so excited to play tomorrow, and I don't even like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that's what the event is. But I'm so excited to keep playing Smash.
So when are they announcing these?
They are literally putting them on Twitter. Like, this one was announced 2 days ago, like Wednesday, for it to come out on Friday.
That's pretty cool. I do love announcements like that. Like, who doesn't love be like, oh, hey, by the way, this thing we just announced, 72 hours, it's yours.
Yeah, I know.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that. That I get that quick hit of Smash, but I put it on my calendar on my phone to remind me to play them, and because I don't want to miss their limited time event. And I've just noticed my calendar has been every other week. Smash Spirit, 1 o'clock. Smash Spirit, 1 o'clock. So it's like, okay, the pattern is immediately evident, like now that we have 3.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that it continues. I think it's a great opportunity to add a tiny, tiny bit of content from new games that released post-Smash Ultimate or post-Smash Ultimate's late-stage development, and add more content of those games into Smash.
Now, when you say that these are limited time events, is it simply you need to play and acquire these spirits in this time window, or even if you've acquired them, they're gone after this event?
You can only acquire them in this small time frame.
But then they're yours.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
There are Smash events there are constantly new Smash Spirit events. They will recycle ones that already exist. So it'll be like, this event is characters who wear hats. And it'll be like a ton of characters, not just like a super limited selection.
It's like the Guess Who of Smash Spirits.
It kind of is, yeah, of Nintendo and various other third-party franchises. Yeah. Does this character have fur? Yeah, that's the Spirit event this week.
Now, you mentioned the possibility of it being ported over to the new console. Do we want to talk about, some of these rumors that are coming? I mean, they seem pretty well founded, talking about the Switch 2.
They are. It's a little worrying to, when people speculate on stuff, they do the classic, like, scientific theory trap of coming up with the conclusion first and working backwards from it.
Right. Yes.
So I am worried that when I look at Smash, my bias is causing me to do that. So it's hard for me to speak about it and seem unbiased or looking at it with a level head. But very quickly, there's a new Nintendo console supposedly on the horizon. A lot of insiders have said that. There's a lot of speculation that console will be backwards compatible. And I personally foresee a lot of their very big console moving games recurring and being launch title ports on the next console. Very much like they did with Mario Kart 8 from the Wii U to the Switch, and that is still their best-selling title, period, Nintendo game, I think, ever. So I foresee that being Mario Kart 8 that just got a ton of DLC, ready in time for the new console, probably getting a console port to the next system, and I think Smash Ultimate will be another one of those. I think a lot of these games that Nintendo has that can attach a lot of DLC will probably end up being like getting specific ports for the new console, maybe with a tiny, tiny trickle of new content. Like, for example, when Mario Kart 8 went from Wii U to Switch, they added like a Mario Odyssey level, like some very small stuff like that. So I would see Smash getting maybe a few new levels, maybe at most 1 or 2 brand new characters, but I don't even think that's happening.
So Metroid Prime, do you think they just kind of switched, development? They're like, this is going to be the Switch 2 launch title? Is that what's happened to it?
I do not, because it's gone through so much. They changed the lead the director, I think. I forget who. Some very high level positions changed in Metroid Prime like 5 years ago and restarted the entire development cycle. So I think on top of dealing with all of the internal staff shuffling and possibly restructuring the game if they decided to pivot it to a different direction, it would be a lot to ask of that studio to then also make it a launch title on a brand new console for hardware that has not yet been developed for. It just seems logistically like kind of a nightmare.
Fair. Unless Nintendo decides to pull a Nintendo and, their next hardware is really not that much of a leap in architecture compared to the old Switch.
That is very much possible. If they're working with NVIDIA again, I mean, the Tegra chip was specifically made for the Switch, so it wouldn't surprise me if they also have a completely specialized chip for whatever the next iteration is. I think if you followed Pikmin as much as I did, a long time ago, they said, Miyamoto said, like, Pikmin 4 is almost ready. And a lot of insiders were saying, in the year that Pikmin 4 came out last year and slightly before that, a lot of people said Pikmin 4 is done. Like, it's all just polish, and they were just saving it for a good window where nothing else was going on to put it out. I feel like we haven't heard about Metroid for so long, and I feel like it's because, one, people weren't expecting much with development restarting. Two, they haven't already shown too much. And three, I think they're just doing the same thing as they did with Pikmin 4, where it's kind of in a polish phase. And when they need a release window, they'll slot it in there. And that's why no promo material has come out, because they're probably still figuring out where to put it. But I think largely, this is completely baseless speculation, by the way. I think
most of what we speak about is
Metroid Prime is on the downturn of development, or is finished and is at polish, and they're just going to slot it. Because almost everything that's happening for 2024 for Nintendo, we know where it's going to fall release-wise, and we know what the plan is ahead of time. And there's not many years where that's the case.
Sure. Well, we do have the rumors that there is a direct, I think next week is what the rumors are calling, or maybe a week after that.
There's rumors for it, but also that's been the case for like the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I mean, I could have guessed it. The most recent stuff I've heard, and again, this is not from anyone credible, is just that the Direct is supposed to be a partner Direct, and then there will be one in March that is more specifically Nintendo first party and possibly hardware focused.
And that's what I keep hearing, is that March announcement.
But you know what? I am so happy I've been freed from my shackles of watching and speculating on every Direct since Ultimate completed. It's like, don't suck me back in, man. I can't live that life again, you know?
So let me bring you into my world, because I'm not a Smash player.
Sure.
The most I've ever played of Smash is actually when my family and I went and we visited and stayed with Stone and his wife, and we all ended up playing, and he was Sephiroth, and the rest. No, we were Sephiroth. No, you were Sephiroth.
I was Sephiroth,
and we were from
Ridley,
Animal Crossing,
obviously. And Isabelle.
Isabelle, that's right.
Yeah.
And absolutely trounces. That's the most I've ever played. And yet, with every rumor coming out and every Direct coming out, Stone would get me so amped up, because there would be some sort of indication that maybe my buddy Solaire from Dark Souls was going to be a character.
You know,
and
the worst
I bought
part,
into it.
You know the worst part? Well, first of all, okay, this guy's the only third-party guy with an amiibo. Come on, guys.
Come on.
But
he's right there.
The worst part is the final character reveal.
Oh, my word. Come on.
There was that fire.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, my God. This is Solaire.
This is it. Oh, I thought the same thing watching that.
Just at the very beginning, that fire. But
my heart.
Yeah.
My heart. I told Stone, I will pick Smash up today. I will actually play this game. I will become proficient, or at least somewhat able to play this game. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah. And you know, almost any From character would be cool.
Right.
I think specifically, I don't know the character's name from Sekiro. Is it Sekiro?
Yes. Yeah. So the wolf from Sekiro. Yep.
I mean, he has like a defined personality and a more uniformed combat style. So someone like that could get in just great. And that would be just as fun as a Solaire or a Chosen Undead or whatever.
Actually, you know, Sekiro would be very cool, and we might have actually talked about this before, but just with all the different prosthetics, they would fit the Smash gameplay so well.
And even the biggest thing, I think what people don't always have in mind when they're like looking at a character for Smash, it's like, what is the connecting thread of this character's moveset? You know, like Byleth has a bunch of weapons that are interchangeable, but it's because in Fire Emblem Three Houses, you have to learn everything to defer it to your students. You're constantly changing weapons. So, but like in Sekiro, it's like timing. So if it came to it, timing would be the connecting thread, not necessarily the prosthetics.
Right.
And that's what I think is why I think when a character comes to Smash, they feel so incredibly true to the experience, because they're not looking at like what weapons and stuff do they bring with it. They're looking at like, what is the personality? What's the connecting thread that defines this character when you play as this character?
Because as we know, as I said last week, Sekiro is a rhythm game.
Yes, yes. Really quickly, this is a question I had. Just thinking about upcoming titles and a possible new hardware. Something a little bit more concrete. Is there like we're still in early 2024. It's only February 8th.
Yes.
Now that we peel back the curtain on every, on every recording session. Do you have a most anticipated game of 2024?
The problem is I do, and it's Dragon's Dogma 2, and that's next month.
Yeah. You
Like,
can
it's
smell
so close.
Yeah.
I will say that Elden Ring DLC, I fully expect that we'll get the reveal on its 2-year anniversary, which is coming up on the 25th of this month. Way too many updates to the Steam database files regarding DLC. We know that Bandai Namco, every region has updated their Elden Ring playlist, so it's a matter of when they're going to drop the trailer. I don't know though that if we're going to see the DLC this year. I was convinced we were going to get it in, the first part of this year.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's too stacked. It's too late. There's no way they're going to shadow drop an expansion of this size. So I would say the DLC for Elden Ring, and yet I'm unconvinced at this point that it's even coming out in 2024.
Sure.
So as far as what I know, Dragon's Dogma 2 without even a close competitor.
Sure. Okay, if those two were freebies, would you have a different answer?
Honestly, at this moment, no. And maybe it's just because I haven't had the time to sit down and digest what's upcoming, just with everything that's going on. But no, I wish I could, but that's the only thing that's popping into my head. What about you?
Oh, this might sound like a boring answer given how much I've already talked about something very similar to this, but I am so excited for Metaphor Refantasio, I believe it's called. It's all the same people that made Persona 3, 4, and 5 making a brand new game where it's like it takes place in like a magic, I don't know, alternate steampunk kind of world setting, and you were like a politician and the like king died, and it's like magic, the election kind of is magic, so it goes specifically off of like a popular vote that's like automatically calculated through magic. So you have to like go around campaigning and like solving all these different towns and worlds issues, and it still has all the same social aspects of Persona, and it has the like mech designers and stuff from Evangelion. And I'm literally like in an Evangelion hoodie right now. Like I love everything I could want is in that game so far. And I am absolutely stoked for it. I'm so excited.
Wow,
it's just like a brand new, completely original idea and IP, and I'm all about it. I want to see it so badly.
Wow, I've never even heard of it.
Oh, they keep showing it at different events. Like I think it was on Xbox's one not too long ago. You'll keep seeing it. It doesn't have a tied down release date yet. They've just said it's fall, and that's good enough for me. However much time it takes. But the advertisements and stuff, if you're not like already tuned into that kind of aesthetic from Persona, you're probably already washed it away in your mind. Plus, the name is not catchy. It's like Metaphor Refantasio or something like that.
Metaphor Refantasy.
Fantasio.
Oh, Metaphor Fantasio? What?
Maybe, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, they maybe have a little bit. You know what? They could use their own campaign, I guess.
They sure could.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
I will have to check out the trailer. I'm looking at it now. That is an interesting typography with the metaphor. It's kind of cool. Kind of. I don't know. Heavy metal.
I think it like bursts with the style of Persona, but in a new world. Like, I think just that, like, the way the logo is written, it like has a center point in the center, and it almost like builds a line to attract you to just like a pinhead in the middle almost. I don't know. It's very interesting. It is. Like gives off a steampunk aesthetic while just kind of being font. I don't know. I am very excited. Everyone I could ever want involved with the project is working on it.
Well, there we go.
That's not why I brought it up, though. I was just curious. We were talking about like a new console and stuff, so I thought let's look to the beginning of the rest of the year since we're still at the beginning.
And while we're here, one thing I tend to do when we're actually recording this podcast is as we're talking about things, I will actually try and look further into it right now to see if I can, add to the conversation. And I'm looking at the 2024 release schedule. I still don't see anything that's like jumping out, but there are, dozens and dozens of games supposedly coming out this year that still don't even have a lockdown release date. So I imagine we're going to get a whole lot more events in the first half of this year.
Yeah. Summer Game Fest will probably be the biggest one, but I imagine if next week is a Nintendo Partner Showcase, this is probably a big opportunity for more indie titles or AA developers to get their projects out there. So a lot of stuff we know is coming this year will probably be locked down next week. And the biggest one that I think people are most excited to possibly hear about after years would probably be Silksong.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So are you saying that you have insider knowledge that it will be at the Direct?
I have insider knowledge that a lot of people will be disappointed by one thing or another, and that could possibly be Silksong.
Oh man, money where your mouth is. That is quite the claim.
You. I can tell you 100%, no matter what happens, there will be a Silksong Smash Spirit crossover.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's happening.
100%. Get your hopes up. Never back down from that.
That is,
anyway, I got
that's
a list
some
of
confidence.
games. You want to hear them?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you later.
Yes, I am actually like genuinely excited. I've known, spoiler alert, because I think you even mentioned previously on the podcast, maybe not. I believe your theme's platformers, right?
It is. I believe I said last week.
Okay, all right.
Gave everyone a little tease, what I thought would be 2 weeks from now, but it's today. That it is platformers, and the reason it is platformers is because I wanted to give it to you in a new format. I was describing them before in a way that like made them sound enticing, but I thought this time platformers, I can give it to you a little bit like a menu. Okay. So I'm going to give you whether or not they are 3D or 2D or 2.5D platformers, and you understand what those all mean, correct?
I do, yeah.
Sure. And then the challenge level. So I will say easy, medium, difficult, or if it's somewhere in between, I'll use a different way to describe it.
This.
And then I'll just kind of give you maybe what we would call the ingredients of it. Just like a quick, this has open levels, or this is like mission-based, or whatever. But I will try not to go into a lot of depth. I just want to read this like a menu, and you say, oh, I do want a 3D platformer that has open levels,
All right. I love it.
I will also say that one of these games is a recommendation from someone other than myself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool if we landed on that one?
Yes, it would be. Or if it's not your style, then it wouldn't be. You
also
do get a
valid.
mulligan. You do get a mulligan. You are welcome to guess this round. You might have difficulty because these are incredibly vague.
Ooh, okay.
But what I will say is last time we were guessing that has been posted on YouTube, we saw people guessing the games as they were coming out, and it was so fun to read those comments. So I would definitely encourage anybody, if you have any guesses what any of these games are, throw them down below, pause it after I give the description, write it out, and see if you can guess what they are before we reveal it.
Yes, yeah. And the person who gets the most right each week does get points.
Yeah, we will tell you when Silksong releases.
We will DM you on YouTube the Silksong release date.
Yeah.
See, the joke is there is no DM on YouTube, but they don't have to know that. And just make sure you cut this part out.
Yeah, I am actively doing it right now. This is me from the future speaking.
Live editing.
All right, number one, in no particular order. This one, open the menu in front of you. You will see the first item, 3D platformer.
Okay.
Challenge level, medium.
Medium, all right.
Open levels. Handle objectives in any orders.
Oh, okay.
Unlock abilities. Comedy. Co-op. User-made campaigns.
Ooh. Oh, fascinating. Okay.
Any guesses?
Kind of.
Give it all again if I have to.
No, I do. I actually do have a guess. I don't know if this game I'm thinking of actually meets all that criteria. But if I had to guess, which I don't, but I'm gonna anyway. No, wait, hold on. I gotta. It's not. Hold on, wait. Time out.
You're just giving people more time to guess. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. I'm actually looking it up because I was gonna say nuts and bolts, but okay, yeah, Banjo and Kazooie, nuts and bolts. That's what I'm going with. Yeah. Okay. And again, I don't know if it meets all that criteria, but in my head, as you're describing it, that's what I'm picturing. But I don't know if it was co-op. So
sure.
All right.
On to the next.
There we go. Yes.
2D challenge, easy.
Ooh.
Maybe in parentheses, casual. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Heavy storytelling, deep involved character stories, focused on emotion, base building / crafting, open world.
Hold on. No. You can't have 2D and open world in the same ingredient list. 2D open world.
Sure.
Base building. Heavy character. And platformer? With a casual difficulty. Wow. Okay, I don't even have an inkling of a guess to that one.
Great. On to the next.
Yeah.
2D challenge, medium to difficult.
Ooh.
Distinct environments, fast-paced soundtrack, light comedy and story, light upgrades. Is all this making sense, by the way? I wrote them in the most brief way possible.
No, it is. It is. This one I was going to guess Super Meat Boy until you said light upgrades. Is that what was it? Was that the phrase light upgrades?
Yes.
Okay.
I would also say straight up, I would never classify Super Meat Boy as medium. It would be difficult.
Okay, I mean, I guess, in the early stages, medium. Yeah. Okay, all right, so that's fair. So not Super Meat Boy. So 2D, medium to hard difficulty, light comedy and story, and light upgrades.
Distinct environments, fast-paced
environments. Fast-paced soundtrack too, yeah. Shoot.
On to the next?
Yeah, on to the next. Yeah, right. Yeah.
3D. Challenge, medium. Mission style levels. Multiple temporary power-ups. Well-known soundtrack. Unique physics. These are hard to guess, aren't they?
They really are.
Yeah, they're not easy. They're kind of difficult to guess.
Like, I'm just kind of really hoping that my first guess was correct, because that might be the only one I make all night. Fast-paced soundtrack.
Oh, that was
that was the last one. Yeah. No, this was well-known soundtrack.
Yes. I can read it again if you want, because they play together.
Do.
Okay.
Yeah.
3D, medium, mission-style levels, temporary power-ups, well-known soundtrack, unique physics.
Unique physics.
And after we get through the list, I'll read them all again for you.
Okay, let's. And there are more to the list.
Dos más.
Two more. Let's go to the next.
2.5D. Challenge, difficult. Metroidvania. Nature aesthetic. Puzzle focused. Emotional story.
Nature aesthetic. You said 2.5D?
Yeah.
So this one, this one's a shot in the dark. I do have a guess.
Okay.
Brain. Is it Brain? Hold on, I have to make sure that's even the name.
Do you mean Braid?
Braid, that's what I meant. Yes, I do mean Braid. Yes.
Okay. I'll give you a until we...
Okay, I'll take the
Okay. Final one. 2D challenge, difficult to very difficult.
Oh.
Should you go the completionist route? Known for high challenge.
Okay.
Unique movement options. Unraveling story. Gorgeous environmental art. I didn't have a way to rephrase that.
It's not Super Meat Boy because it is not gorgeous environmental art. And I don't know there's much of a story there.
Yeah, Band-Aid Girl gets stolen.
Not likely to be, I want to be the Bashi. You've really got my wheels turning with the difficult to impossible difficulty level.
I said very difficult if you go the completionist route.
Yeah.
So that's like an optional very difficult.
Okay.
So do you want me to hit him again?
Could you just rapid fire?
Sure. First one, 3D, medium, open levels, handle objectives in any order, unlock abilities, comedy, co-op, user-made campaigns.
Which I guess Banjo and Kazooie nuts and bolts. That's all I got. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just tell you you're wrong.
Dang it.
Number 2, 2D, easy, heavy storytelling, deep individual character stories, focused on emotion, base building / crafting, open world.
That one is the most bizarre
Sure.
combination of anyway,
Sure.
move on.
Number 3, 2D, challenge, medium to difficult, distinct environments, fast-paced soundtrack, light comedy / story, light upgrades.
Okay.
Number 4, 3D, medium, mission-style levels, multiple temporary power-ups, well-known soundtrack, unique physics.
Okay.
Number 5, 2.5D, difficult, Metroidvania, nature aesthetic, puzzle-focused, emotional story.
Wait, why did I say Braid for that one? And it's a Metroidvania. That's
Yeah.
not. I missed that.
Well, you thought Brain was. You were saying Metroid, Mother Brain.
Okay,
So
it
you were
is
guessing
Brain.
Metroid. Yeah.
I was close. Okay, darn.
Yeah,
okay,
you were
I
guessing
should have stuck
Metroid,
to my guns.
typically known as a Metroidvania.
Also known as Brain.
Yeah, very, very nature aesthetic in
Shoot.
Metroid.
Right.
And the final one, 2D, difficult to very difficult, known for a high challenge, unique movement options, unraveling story, gorgeous environmental art.
Well, I'm going to say right now, I have no more guesses. None.
Okay.
Like
Do you
not.
want? Okay, do you want to? There's a few ways we could do it.
Yes.
I could reveal and then you choose, or you choose one, then we reveal and see how you feel.
That's what I want to do. I want to choose based on the description, and then we'll potentially mulligan, because hey, my mulligan last time gave me Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
So just saying.
Trust your instincts.
And right now, I'm really weighing between the second and the last. So the second one being the one that is both 2D and a open world.
So first of all the 3Ds are out.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you're looking at, the 2D, easy, heavy storytelling, deep individual character stories, focus on emotion, base building, crafting, open world.
Yep.
And the 6 being 2D, difficult to very difficult, known for a high challenge, unique movement options, unraveling story, gorgeous environmental art.
Yep. Those are the two. Simply for the incredible diversity and, in my opinion, almost contradictory ingredients, I'm going to, at least right now, I'm going to choose number 2.
Okay. We will tell the chefs to prepare Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer.
Have you heard of this?
I don't know that I have. I'm looking it up as we...
Sure. This is a game where you are asked to take the place of kind of the Undertaker almost, but you are leading people who have recently deceased to the end of their spiritual journey. You get a boat that is your base that you can craft and build up depending on who is on it.
What?
They have certain requirements, and it's open world. You choose where you sail to complete different missions. It's a 2D platform. It's very casual. It will offer you extremely little challenge, but it's a huge focus on storytelling and the emotional stories that each individual character that you have to shepherd has. And I will also say, this is the guest pick. This is from my wife.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, let's mulligan it.
Okay, bye.
Without hearing it. That's so cool.
Yes. I mean, this is, again, a very casual game. It's not going to offer a lot of challenge to people that are looking for it. But if you have a casual gamer with you, it is an excellent first game, and it is very heavily focused on story. If you want a great narrative, this is the game for you.
Wow.
But let's go through them in order then, if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
The first game, the 3D medium, open levels, handle objectives in any order, unlock abilities, comedy, co-op, user-made campaigns. This is a Hat in Time.
Oh, way off.
Hat in Time has a lot of different worlds you can go to, but when you go to those worlds, it's kind of like Mario 64, where you beat a boss and then it opens up a ton. You can like handle the stars in any order. But there's a full Steam workshop where people make full-on campaigns that you can download and seamlessly jump to into the game. There's full co-op, so you can play with other people. And you unlock different abilities, so you get different hats, and each hat gives you a different kind of puzzle platforming ability.
All right. Wow. Yeah. Way off.
Then we had Spiritfarer. Then number 3 was Shovel Knight. The 2D, medium difficulty, distinct environments, fast-paced soundtrack, light comedy/story, and light upgrades. Because you do get upgrades in that game, but there's something like more armor or a higher jump, or they're kind of light. Number 4, this one is actually a big one, I think, if you knew the title. This is Mario Galaxy. It is a 3D medium, mission-style levels, multiple temporary power-ups, I think was the big one. A well-known soundtrack, and unique physics.
Right. Okay. That all tracks. Oh my God. You did such a good job with these, can I just say?
Thank you. I have never played Mario Galaxy, actually.
Really? Okay.
This has been on my list for a while, so I wanted to include it and forgot to save. But obviously, if you like your guess, I'm not trying to tilt you one way or the other.
Right.
The next one, the Metroidvania, is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, 2.5D, difficult, Metroidvania, nature aesthetic.
Yeah,
that was the big
very
one.
much so.
Puzzle-focused, emotional story.
That is one, after I finished Hollow Knight, a lot of people, in fact, I think, if I'm being honest, I think a viewer actually gifted it to me so I could play it on the channel, and I never did.
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori the Will-o-the-Wisp have also been on my to-play list for a while. So I had to include them in for your save as well. This one, I think you were right there. You might be kicking yourself for not guessing this final one. The 2D challenge, difficult to very difficult. This is Celeste.
Oh, yes. Of course.
Because the completionist, like getting all the strawberries, is a very well-known high challenge, high difficulty route to go. But yeah, known for its high challenge, unique movement options, the multiple dashes, the climbing, that kind of thing. The unraveling story, it tells it as you go, and gorgeous environmental art. It was hard to describe it a different way.
Yep.
So yes, that is Celeste. So we have a Hat in Time, Spiritfarer, Shovel Knight, Mario Galaxy, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Celeste. Have you played any of these?
I did play Mario Galaxy.
Okay, cross it off the list for sure.
Okay. All right, way back when, yes, I did play Galaxy. Great game, great Mario game. Actually, probably the last Mario game I played before Mario Wonder came out.
Oh, great.
Oh, Stone, I don't like this.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Spiritfarer, the one that I chose is I think the standout unique game, and it sounds absolutely beautiful. It almost sounds a little too deep for what I'm looking for.
Sure.
Just the fact that you're just carrying people basically across the river Styx, be like, hey, let's go ahead and revisit, the last thing you want to do before you pass on. That's
sure.
Whew.
It is. It's a little heavy, but also like it's like fun and uplifting. I mean, you spend a lot of time with these characters, so you get to know them. It's not just like, all right, get in.
Yep. Man,
it's fine to move on from that. I mean, Spiritfarer also, I think, won Game of the Year in like 2021.
Did it? Okay. Oh, it's hard.
Yeah.
This is of all the lists we've done so far, I think this is the one where honestly, I now all of these are on my list.
Right.
Even though we're only going to be picking one, all of these are on my list.
Yeah, they're all bangers for real. Like Hat in Time, just reiterating, Hat in Time, Spiritfarer, Shovel Knight, Mario Galaxy, Ori and the Blind Forest, Celeste.
And honestly, the fact that I haven't played Shovel Knight at this point is kind of embarrassing. It has been recommended more times than most.
So I have beaten a Hat in Time.
Okay.
If that means anything. I have also gotten like 75% of the way through Shovel Knight.
Okay.
If it's important for me to be playing these for the first time, I think Spiritfarer I've done 1 or 2 hours, maybe at most.
Oh, I wish I wish there was a standout, and there's not.
Difficult. Yeah.
It really like I have them. You right now, if you could see on my screen, I'm clicking between the Steam pages, and I'm on how long to beat, and all these different things, and they're all so different from one another.
Well, it's good to know that whatever you choose, you will disappoint a lot of people.
Right? Exactly. I'm about to break some hearts.
I'm like 90% sure that, like in the comments, almost all of these are somebody's favorite game. Like the majority.
Yeah. Easily. And I'm also thinking, oh great, Spiritfarer, your wife picked that one, so she won't speak to me if we don't play that one.
Don't let that impact it, but it is probably the favorite
entirely
game she's
true.
ever played.
Are you serious? No pressure. Oh my! The Spiritfarer has an edition called the Farewell Edition. Like that already makes me want to cry.
Yeah, that's the one she played. Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's beautiful. It's such a simplistic looking game, but it's beautiful.
Sure, all of these will come back some other time.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad for saying goodbye. Like Spiritfarer.
Right. I am sorry, Shelby. I'm going to very gingerly cross out Spiritfarer.
If it didn't have a stiff competition, it probably would have been the game
right?
it chose.
Without a doubt. I mean that uniqueness of the character you play is actually incredible. Hat in Time, I'm gonna nix.
Oh, I love it. I love Hat in Time.
I'm sure it's an absolutely great game. I'm looking at it right now, and it's not speaking to me.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
so we're down
without
to
the stiff competition.
Yep. We're down to Ori, Celeste, and
Shovel Knight and Mario Galaxy.
Shovel Knight and Mario Galaxy, which we already crossed out Mario Galaxy because I played it.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight, I think I know too much about it. Even though I haven't played it, I've seen it so many times on speedrun. I almost feel like I've played it, and that's not fair. I will play it eventually. So now we're down to Celeste and Ori. I think I want to play Ori.
Okay. Metroidvania, nature aesthetic, puzzle focused, emotional story.
I'm sorry that I've mulliganed now twice in a row, but last time it paid off, and I'm really hoping that it does as well this time.
Yeah. Also, don't be sorry for that. This is why we have the mulligan.
Yeah. Okay, so Ori and the Blind Forest, right? Or is it Ori and the Will of the Wisp you had?
This is Ori and the Blind Forest, the first one.
Okay, all right. All right.
Yeah, I feel like that was stressful for you.
It was! Because I don't want to say no to any of these.
Do you get anxiety looking at menus at restaurants often?
Okay, can I tell you something?
Please.
And I'll be completely like, all right. The answer is yes. To the point where when I was a kid, my family and I, occasionally would go out, especially for birthdays, and Olive Garden was our restaurant of choice because we liked fine Italian dining.
Sure.
And and this is not even an exaggeration, 11, 12-year-old me, I would have almost panic attacks looking at the menu, unable to decide, to the point where, guess what? Stone, I stopped going out to eat with my family and said, please bring me back something.
It's too much authentic Italian.
It's too real. Now, and you can ask anyone if you've been out to eat with me, I don't look at the menu. I let the menu sit on the table until the waitress comes around, or the wait staff comes around, and they ask everyone. I will go last. I will open the menu and I'll say, "Yep, I'll take that." I will choose on the spot because I cannot make a decision leading up to it. How horrible is that?
I didn't mean to throw you in this immersion therapy.
No. I'm now in a really dark place thanks to you. I don't know if I made the right decision with Ori now.
My usurping
I want breadsticks and salad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay, no,
great.
it was stressful only because, again, number one, I don't want to disappoint anyone. I don't want anyone to say, oh, I can't believe Blue didn't pick my favorite game. Mm-hmm. And I also want to make sure that I enjoy the game, and I want it to be something that, I truly have wanted to play if it's on that list, which Ori always has been. But then again, Spiritfarer, that's going to haunt me. So that needs to make a return somehow.
Oh, yeah. Almost all these will. Probably next Mario Galaxy, since you've already played it.
Right.
But, yeah. I mean, there was no world where you were walking out of here with a bad game.
No. This was easily the strongest list we've had so far.
Yeah.
No, like, second fiddle on this.
Which is also extra pressure if you don't like Ori, because it's like, look at what I had.
Look at what I could have had. What could have been.
And now I know how you feel with your restaurant experience.
Oh, man. It's funny that you brought that up because that is no exaggeration. I fully, for a long time, stopped going out to eat. I couldn't handle it.
I thought, how can I craft a personal hell for this episode? I made him listen to me talk about Persona.
There was Persona. There was Digimon. There was restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh. This is what happens when I let you open it up and host.
I am earning the odd episode slot.
Yeah.
I have completely dominated you from it.
Yep. I don't know if I'm returning next week, so tune in to find out.
Sure. Yes. There are other suggestions from people that we've seen in the comments and Discord that are on my list that will come up in future episodes. I am not just biased toward my wife, but I am just biased toward my wife. She is the only one that suggested a platformer, though, so I thought it fit this week great. But that is all to say, keep putting your suggestions in comments.
Yes.
Keep dropping them in the Discord. We are looking at them. We are putting them in our consideration for future episodes. And also, it eases the burden of us coming up with stuff all the time, if that means anything. So, yeah, we'd love to hear your feedback.
Which, if this week is any indication, you know that Blue needs all the help he can get with crafting these lists. So please, at Blue, all right? Just go ahead and tag me so I can run with your suggestions.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I mean, we've now gotten 7 episodes up, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Seeing all the engagement in the comments is really fun. It's fun to see you guys guessing. It's fun answering your questions and seeing your suggestions. And feel free to drop into the Forgot to Save channel in the Discord, where we have convinced somebody to buy a WonderSwan. And now I have convinced somebody to watch Digimon. So we will get you.
The podcast is working.
Yeah. This was just a Trojan horse to get people into Digimon.
But I'm not even into Digimon, so it's not working that well.
And you will be my final victim. I've usurped the odd episodes, and soon I will infest you with Digimon.
What an oddly specific plan, but I'm here for it.
What can I say? It's how I operate. And now we are leaving, which is another way we operate. Just leave you with all this nonsense and walk away.
We love walking away, and you think, what did I just listen to? And you can't remember anything that we actually said because, frankly, we aren't sure what happened either.
Right.
And that's the theme.
Yeah. Well, you know where you get in contact with us. We look forward to, and I speak for everyone, seeing your new Dark Arisen series. Dragon's Dogma.
Yes. This is going to be a lot of fun. Not to mention, by the way, it started already. It's already happened with the game System Shock that we debuted. Not System Shock, Hi-Fi Rush, pardon me, where every time we choose a game, I will record around the first hour, just completely kind of uncut so you can see my initial reaction. Ori certainly will follow suit as well. So if you want to see just the first hour or so of me playing it and my just live, word vomit commentary, it'll be live when that discussion episode goes live.
I can't wait.
It'll be fun. I can't wait. It's going to be good. It's going to be great.
All right.
Or it could have been Spiritfarer, but who knows?
You'll never know.
Yeah. Alrighty, folks.
right.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in to the Forgot to Save podcast. And I really look forward to next week where I get to share my list after I've curated it.
Sure. Fun as always to hang out. I
Yes.
will catch you next week.
All right. Thanks, everyone.